Hi, how you doing? And welcome to my April 2022 bullet journal setup. I cannot believe we are at the end of the first quarter of the year. This year just seems to be going by so fast. And I finally picked up some new Micron pens. I got a set of the Michaels brand Artist Loft. They're actually pretty good from what I experienced doing this, especially since this was a lot of line drawings more than anything. But I also picked up some extra Pigma Microns as well because all of mine had died. it was just time. So for this theme of April, I've decided to go for what would be kind of like a wildflower theme, or just a very floral type of patterns, with throwing in some kind of like mason jars instead of vases. I thought that would be a bit more unique and a little more cutesy and artsy, but I also really wanted to practice my line drawing skills. I feel like I don't get enough time within my days to really practice that kind of minimal artwork where it's really just all lines and it's very easy to remake. It's not something super complicated or structured like a lot of geometric patterns. It's something that I feel everyone can do, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards that idea of branding as an artistic minimal bullet journal. And I'm actually kind of excited to be doing what I would consider to be an artistic minimal setup for this month. We're not going to be super artistic this month, mostly because I really just needed to get these spreads set up and get going. I was also very purposeful going with that mason jar and wildflower theme with the type of font with the April 2022 that would go on the mason jar. I wanted to do something very similar to the type of font that you see on those jars. So it's kind of this cursive-y type style in the brand of the mason jar name that you see sometimes for like the ball mason jars. And they have like these different shadows of glass, which I'm going to add in later. And I'm just messing with different pen line weights to really develop those wildflowers that are going to be growing out of the mason jar. Now I'm going to be going in with a new set of pens I got for the dual brush pens by Artist Loft, another from the Michaels brand. I would love, that is the dream, to be able to afford Tombos one day, but they're very expensive and I'm very young and just kind of starting out in life and working on getting my career in architecture going. So I try to find like what I call like the most affordable dupes. And then to make that glass shadow, we just use a grainy colored pencil just to kind of give it that more of a faded shadow effect. And now we have the next spread, which is my calendar and my little note portions of the pages. And I decided to do something that I thought would kind of go really well with the theme and do little like vector drawings of push pins. I thought that was kind of neat, as like almost like the idea that you're putting on a board, or they're like sticky notes that you're pinning to a board. So I did a mixture of what looks like, little vector drawings of tape holding the boxes up, or push pins. And this month I decided to make my calendar a lot smaller because, to be honest, I don't really use the calendar. I usually write my dates down somewhere, usually in my planner. So I thought it would just be a better idea to have my same categories of goals, critical, and notes, but then instead have important dates as the second largest box and make the calendar smaller. That is one thing you'll probably notice, is that a lot of things tend to change at the end of each quarter because I really evaluate how I'm bullet journaling, what's working, what's not working for me, and really just let one create different styles of productivity, but also knowing what's going to work best for me and trying out new methods. And now we have the first spread completed. And in real time, each of these spreads only took about 15 to 20 minutes. So it was really only a little bit more additional time than what you usually would have with like super minimal bullet journaling, stripped to bare bones, which is what I really liked about it. I'm trying to find that happy medium of let's still let it be artistic, but also still keep it minimal and find that central balance within my journal. And for the next spread, I do my Q2 overly view. I create 4 categories and I look at my goals page and fill it in. And my 4 categories are what I've been doing, what has been successful, what isn't working, and what can I improve. And I kind of write one line for each goal. And if I completed a goal, I write, paid off, discover credit card, Q1, or participating in a design competition, Q1. So, and started a YouTube channel in Q1. So I have actually accomplished 3 goals, 3 out of 10 so far. I am on track for my year, which honestly, it makes me so excited. I always feel like I never can keep track of my goals sometimes because last year I had too many. So I'm just going to continue with that tape theme. And this time I just blacked out the tape. I thought it would go a bit better with this spread. And then you can already see the sketches of it at the bottom. I'm doing a whole line of what will appear to be wildflowers growing amongst grass. And this was a challenge. I'm not going to lie. I found this to be, honestly, out of all the art for the very minimal setup this go around, I found this to be the most challenging for some reason. And I think it's because you're trying to elongate a bunch of different styles of wildflowers where it doesn't feel like it's repeating too much, and you're creating a sense of scale all in one go, and you're stretching all of it across 2 pages. So I have so much respect for people who do a lot of setups like this where they have art that almost looks like a border at the bottom, because I didn't realize how difficult this actually was to achieve, like that look, but I ended up being really happy with how it turned out. And that completes the quarter 2 spread. We are now moving on into habit trackers, and what I have decided to add a weekly routine schedule broken up hourly. I feel like that could be a really useful spread for me because it just seems like I'm not finding time during the week to find little time to squeeze in like different types of chores, and so I'm not so overwhelmed with cleaning on the weekends. And on the weekends I can really focus more on my portfolio and preparing for grad applications and also working on my friend's dedication. So I just really need to find kind of like that work-life balance or work-life hobbies balance, whatever you want to call it. I need balance, and I need to find a way to make more time. So I thought kind of setting up a timetable would be the best way to achieve that. And for my habits trackers, I'm not really changing anything at all. It's still the same 6 that started at the beginning of the year. I'm tracking my water, my intake, my sleeping habits, and instead of no spending days that I want to track, I actually want to track the days that I put money into my savings account instead, because I feel like that would be a bit more useful. That way I can work on meeting that envelope challenge I've started. And then skincare, clean eating, and reading. Because a lot of the times I have noticed I will read, but I sometimes won't hit that 30 pages. I just kind of wanted those habits to be slightly refined into more of what I'm trying to achieve as overall goals. And at the bottom of the page, I have my weekly routines key, which is the key I'm going to put for my time bar tables that I'm later going to fill out. And now to finish off this spread, I am going to be going in with my Le Shoeshine House finger paints, but I'm actually going to use them as if it's an ink stamp. The nice thing about these is that they came in a really large set of all different kinds of colors, so if you ever want to use different colored stamps, you can. The sucky part is they do take a hot minute to dry. Then I put a paper just kind of for safety, just in case. However, I did discover that the 160 GSM of this Archer and Olive book, it did take really well. So that was a very pleasant surprise. And now we jump into the weeklies. The weeklies are kind of going to get a very interesting style of engineering as far as bullet journal setups, because I really wanted something a little different. So for the first week, I used like large boxes for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that starts out the month. And then to the side, I did smaller boxes, categories, gather your thoughts, another notes section, gratitude, Easter gift ideas, because Easter is around the corner. And I'm thinking about what to get my goddaughter, who is now almost 2.5, and a 1 word a day and 1 line a day. And then adjacent, I have a Dutch door that I'm putting in that has the 1 whole week on one side and then another week on the other, with another category for 1 line a day and a separate tasks bar for tasks I know I'm going to be working on throughout those 2 weeks. And then I gave it all a little shared art space with a quote and another mason jar for, like wildflowers, you must allow yourself to grow in all the places people thought you never would. And that quote, it's originally inspired really by Luke 12:27. And now we have come to the end. We are entering into the final spread of the month of April, which I actually squeezed 2 weeks worth of weeks into one page because, again, I don't really use a lot of the weekly boxes themselves. I really use my more larger boxes that I break up my 1 lines a day, my quote that I always do at the end of the month, wrap up tasks, and a monthly summary. So it just made more sense to condense 2 weeks into one page. That brings us to the end with the April flip through. I really enjoyed setting up this spread. I hope you enjoyed watching me set up this spread, and I hope it inspires you to do something in the realms of walking the line of minimal and artistic at the same time. If anything, I really got to practice my skills, and I got to really start setting up in a way that I feel is going to be more effective going into the second quarter. But that is all, folks. Thank you for watching. Again, we're really getting a lot better at editing these things down. I went from 26 to 20 minutes, and that really is my overall goal with these videos. I don't want them to be more than 20 minutes long. So thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end, and I will see you all in the next video.